Yeah, I went out there when Tupela and
oh yeah, so we have your picture. That's going to be in the next one. Is your picture? We have your picture.
The three soggy Sangha members.
That's right.
Oh, we were so wet. It rained so hard.
Well, we've been sending that out to people, as you know, to help raise money.
Yeah, I think they put the box in the ground for the foundation for the second house. Yeah.
Well, I think it's good to see a female practitioner of a high level for people, especially for women.
Yeah, well, there are so many women practicing, too.
That's right. And really, the women, in many senses, you'll find, are stronger than the men in our Sangha. Some of them are not, that's a horrible thing to say, but a lot of them are very respectable. I mean, they've done a good job. You know, people like Kathy Wesley, Kathy Jackson.
Maybe you say there are more women.
Well, there just seem to be...
I think women are definitely in the majority when it comes to practicing in the West and doing heavy-duty practice for some reason. You know, it just seems to be there's a lot more women. Because, yeah, and also you notice most of his Sangha are women.
Is that right?
He's got only a few monks, and all the rest are
I've met some of the women. I've met only a couple of his monks, and Yeshe is exceptional, from my point of view.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely is.
Very unusual. And great blessing for Khenpo Rinpoche. I hope they can keep together.
Yeah.
Between the two of you, it's a whole new ball game for Rinpoche. And you don't know. I mean, I love Nidra. He's my good friend. I mean, very good friend. But still, he's not really a practitioner until recently.
Yeah, well, he's sort of now out of the picture entirely, except for now he's traveling.
I know.
What?
He's with Bokar Rinpoche.
Bokar Rinpoche.
And yeah, he is.
He's really sort of out of the picture. And Choger's resigned as far as translator. His health, he just can't keep it up with his schedule.
So what are we going to do?
I think Yeshe would be really he's ideal.
He's ideal
because he's Western. He's done a lot of practice, and he's also very, very intelligent.
And it carries him. He's actually he's going for it. He's carrying himself properly.
Yeah.
You know, and then not to knock their other ones, but just they weren't really practitioners, so that you would know.
Well, even like although there are a lot of people like at Lama Norla Center that can do their practice in Tibetan and they can speak Tibetan and stuff. There's a world of difference between them and being able to translate is what I understand. Yeah. Only a few people really have that talent. It's not easy.
No.
You know? Like even there was one young Tulku, he was a lay person, but I mean obviously his Tibetan was fine, and he was also a Tulku from a previous life, so he had a lot of Dharma. But he said he could not translate. You know, he just broke out in a sweat when it came to sitting down.
He was Tibetan nationality.
Yeah, and he just said, he'd just break out in a sweat. It was just difficult for him to do, and not many people can do it. That's why Yeshe is such a treat for all of us.
But to me, the biggest treat is because he sets an example. I mean, Nudrupas can talk a blue street, and as smart as a whip. And
yeah,
he is very bright. But there's just something about, you just know that, Yeshe, for whatever imperfection he has, he's practicing. He's still practicing, and he's not messing around. He wants to become realized.
Yeah.
You have that sense of, no fooling around.
Hopefully that's what will happen. Yeshe will be able to spend, like he was saying, he didn't want to stay at KTD.
Well, I can't blame him. What?
Were you there yesterday when he explained why?
No, what did he say? No.
Well, KTD just doesn't have an environment that's really conducive to someone that wants to do a lot of practice. For instance, when he's in Montreal, he can teach, in the evenings, and he also has a lot of time to do all his practice. Whereas at KTD, most of the people are lay people, and a lot of the people that have been there for many years really aren't into the practice.
That's right. I know.
So whereas Lama Norla's is like really concentrated on practice, which a lot of people find difficult to live in. But the KTD is much more of a informal, laid-back atmosphere.
No, and translators on call 24 hours a day for every little thing that squeaks.
Yeah. Well, that's why it would be, if Yeshe's up for it, which he seems to be, if he's just available, we can get him. I mean, it's no big deal flying in from Montreal if he wants to stay. And John McConville apparently, Yeshe wants him there in Montreal for some reason.
I want to write a letter.
As long as Yeshe can come down at a moment's notice.
Well, if we could get a translator there, someone like Chichor, that could take some, Tibetan style that didn't do the heavy duty things like the tours or the big seminars.
Well, that's what I think. If Chichor was around to do sort of interviews and things like that, I don't think that would be too hard on him.
That would be great.
And I don't think he'd want to be completely, out of the KTD Mandala. I mean, he's been there for years, and people really, really love Chichor.
Well, of course.
Sweet. But he cannot keep up with the pace, just health-wise. But he can handle interviews and things like that, as long as he didn't have to get dragged. Like I talked to Chichor, and apparently his feeling was, he'd like to do translating texts and occasionally tour with a lama that needed him. But Yesh is, if he can just be flown down when needed, if he'd be willing to do that, and he seems to be.
Pretty humble.
As long as he doesn't have to live all the time at KTD, so he could maintain his practice and his teaching things in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would really be the answer, because it's not a big deal flying down. It's like an hour or two from Montreal. So if he's there and willing to come at a moment's notice, they should give him a little more notice.
Yeah, and they should pull him in on it. Like they can't leave him out there while they're,
Well, you know how haphazard things get.
They do.
Because it was I guess Chuja. Oh, it was because Chuja got ill.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody knew how ill and then the teaching was scheduled. So
right up until the Gaelic step, and that was a big.
Yeah, until the Gaelic step also was sort of
big bummer.
Much going on there too. And so I think in the future, if Ishi knew that it was well in advance in order to keep, as long as he's available, that would be really good. Because he doesn't need, we don't need to, he should be allowed to do whatever he has to do for his practice and stuff without bothering with this mundane thing.
I agree.
Because a lot of interviews are real. I mean, a lot of those interviews probably could be done without even a translator.
That's right.
Khenpo Rinpoche could just talk to people in his pidgin English for what most of people, they just want to sort of meet him and make an offer or anything like that. So, but apparently they only get like 10 or 15 minutes. You've got, per interview.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Which is another reason that people were saying it was nice that I was around, because they can sort of drag me anywhere, if they want to just.
But that's important, and
So you sort of cushion the blows that Rinpoche doesn't have to
like,
get. But so people are saying, some people, I mean, they schedule an interview like 2 weeks in advance or something.
I
See
know.
Rinpoche, and it's like 10 minutes, and it's not.
Well, I think you should schedule your time, but many of the questions you can answer.
Yeah, a lot of them are just real simple things people just want to ask.
That's right.
Just something off the cuff or something. Well, that's what I was saying when we were talking over there, and because some people do find, Khenpo Rinpoche has a formidable presence,
So now, I don't see that.
Well, for some people they do. They feel, here's this, they just feel a distance.
I never heard that before.
Oh,
I
really?
know what you mean, but that's real attractive to me. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I
mean, he's impeccable.
Yeah, feel so.
Yeah, that's
Well,
why a lot of people feel.
I think of it as like a respect or something, not a distance.
Well, when a lot of people just want to sort of ask a few informal questions about, where they're coming from and stuff, he's not the one, I guess, that they want to go to first. They'd rather just sort of someone more of a peer, one of their own ilk.
You know what I recommend they talk to? Karma Wangmo.
Me. Yeah, well,
you should do that when you are.
Well, that's what I've been doing though, Michael, since I've been out. I've been just sort of the people ask, I'm more approachable in that sense. If somebody just has a lot of people wouldn't feel comfortable just walking up to Rinpoche with him not having a translator, just on the hill somewhere, and they ask something.
But I feel comfortable walking up to Rinpoche. But you take a little getting used to. Just to give you a little feedback to make sure you get it. You're a little formidable. You're much more formidable than Rinpoche, from my point of view.
Me?
Yes.
Really?
Of course. You're much more distant from my point of view. I'm getting to know you, right? And then I won't be, we're all like little birds, right? We're not sure that we can land,
I guess it's just different people,
Yeah.
Some people feel no question about it. I mean, they can come up to me and just, get nothing to add, whereas they would feel some reserve about going to Rinpoche. Because a couple of people have, wanted to talk to me before doing an interview with Rinpoche.
No, I think it's good. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm trying to
a lot of,
let you know
because you are American, it's a lot of things, cultural kinds of things that people might feel like they didn't know quite what was protocol or something like Rinpoche, that kind of thing.
And you're liable to do anything, right? No one knows, you're not predictable, which is not bad. I'm just saying that it's a little, makes, for someone that's trying to slide up and is scared to death anyway, it makes it a little, Karma Wangmo might suddenly not be there, right? Or she might just go off here. And I'm not criticizing. I'm trying to give some information that people are real skittish, just like birds. When you're trying to feed them, it's real hard to get them. The Rinpoche is so still.
Oh yeah, he's always there.
And so that once you realize he's not going to bite, then you can come right up. And I see, I get to know you better and like you more and more. That I was scared to death of Barda Rinpoche for years. It wasn't until we did Dorshi Tumpo till I started doing a wrathful deity. I told him this, that he and I are kind of getting friendly. Yeah, he just seems so severe all the time. This might be what I'm seeing of him, right?
Yeah.
So serious, right? I'm sure it's my own reflection, right?
Yeah.
And then when I started doing wrathful practice and I started lightening up on realizing the wrathful practice wasn't really heavy, it was actually fairly refined. Then when I saw him this year, I just felt so much more open to him. And I told him that, and so it's the same way. I don't know who you are. You're a famous one, and yogini, and all this stuff, or whatever that is. And
well, that's nice that you feel comfortable with Rinpoche, because that's, I think, how everybody gets to a point where I think in maybe in the beginnings they might feel some reserve, because he's just coming from a different culture.
He's cool. I never.
But he is very warm and that sort of thing, and he's always such a rock, which I think a lot of people are just having him. Like when he's gone, that sort of people were saying when Rinpoche and everybody left KTD, there's just the flakiness of the sort of surface, it was just his presence is the grounding. And also they think, just seeing a Western song member there is also sort of,
But see, for a while we didn't know you were going to be there, right? We heard, well, she might do this, she might do that, and then I also heard, this might be gossip. It's just sort of Rinpoche was hoping, and I did hear that. I don't know whether it's true. It doesn't sound like. I don't think he's beyond hoping that you would be there.
Yeah, Rinpoche would like me there.
Yeah, or there and gone there.
As a home base.
If he doesn't have you, who the heck does he have? People like ourselves out here, but we are doing what we can do at a distance. But you are free, right? You're, and let me say this: you're a nun or whatever, celibate. That's really important.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I've learned that recently. It's an important factor. It just is.
The ordination.
The difference. Yeah. Even someone as bright as still the other element. A little scary.
For them,
for
people,
for others. You understand what I'm saying?
In what way?
Just knowing that that's taken care of, under control in some sense. Then there's no approach avoidance problems.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And I mean, all this time I always thought, well, celibacy was something that someone did for themselves. And recently I've understood that's true, but it's also something that they do for others. And I didn't ever understood that until real recently, that that's something they do out of the kindness, because it takes a tremendous load off others.
Yeah.
You have to meet them.
Yeah.
That doesn't become a big factor, which it's an enormous factor in a lot of the guru-type situations. You understand?
Yeah, right.
And it's caused a tremendous amount of suffering, and also lost a tremendous amount of students that might have become good practitioners because there was a conflict there. Or the husband or the wife was afraid of this or that.
Yeah, the option is removed. So
that's right. So,
sure.
I just want to, let you know about that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who would never themselves take ordination. They would be extremely disappointed if, say, I disrobed.
They would.
Because it's sort of a support that they're not willing to take on themselves, but they want someone doing it. It's the same way with doing retreat for 12 years. A lot of people may never go into retreat, but they like the fact that someone was doing it. They felt good about it. They could tune into that and say, well, somebody's doing it, so that was inspiring, even though they themselves might not do it immediately or in this lifetime.
And people will be sending you their best wishes or whatever, and you become a legend, clearly. And
yeah, I always felt that, like, a lot of people just felt, it could have been anybody, but you just feel this responsibility, because like I was telling a friend, it would be easy for me to disrobe because I'm not into being a nun.
No.
It's not my lifestyle. It's not that sort of. But a lot of people, they need that support, seeing someone doing it, and I can do it in a way that is still approachable for them.
You're cool, right?
I'm hip.
You're hip.
Yeah, but renounced. but so people who might never consider taking ordination, when they see like Lama Norla's Sangha, who are very Paka together, they might think about it if they could do it in a way that, like I did, like it doesn't dictate a certain lifestyle. You can still live in the world and be a little off the wall. So I think people feel more comfortable with ordination when they see the way someone like myself is doing it, other than
well, because there's only been Rinpoche and Bar Rinpoche. All the rest disrobe.
Well, Bar Rinpoche also disrobe.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. But
Just
Sangye
Rinpoche.
Wangchuk and Tenzin and Yeshe, just a whole stream. So there was then there's just Rinpoche.
Yeah, your Rinpoche and I are the only ones that
and then
are
there was what's her name?
Wangmo, she disrobed.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
difficult. It's very nice, and we're still friends and everything. But that's what I'm saying. You're it.
Yeah.
And you're it. And there's a great Lama that 100 years, 500 years from now, I can't believe they won't remember him exactly. Really, as being to me is as important, of course, to me as someone like it was said like Trungpa Rinpoche. It's another whole take on it. And it's very gentle and.
You mean Khenpo Rinpoche?
Khenpo Rinpoche.
Oh, yeah.
Gee, he deserves some kind of retinue.
Yeah.
More than just a ragtag. We're a ragtag crew at best, maybe. But
yeah.
I mean, you must feel the same way we do about him, right? I mean.
Yeah, I love him dearly, like a father, and definitely.
That he's been a good Sawi Lama, right?
Well, Rinpoche is, I think of as my teacher. I think of the Karmapa, the 16th Karmapa.
Okay, well, so
as my
you
Sawi
got to
Lama.
know him. Yeah, okay.
And I think of Rinpoche as my teacher. We've always had that sort of relationship, like as teacher and student.
That's cool.
And he always, when he talks to me, he always refers to the two of us, which just shows how humble a person he is as disciples of the Karmapa.
Well,
he never refers to himself as my teacher. He says, you and I are disciples of the Karmapa.
Okay. Well, see, he is our teacher, right? For
yeah.
Sure.
Well, the Karmapa only taught like a few, like the regions and stuff. He didn't do much teaching.
Well, but you saw him earlier. I met him once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's it. And Rinpoche is our Sawi Lama. And
oh, right. Fair enough. Yeah.
Right. So absolutely. What do you need, Ian?
He doesn't want to give me a guano.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We'll interview him. We can talk about the guana later. We're trying to get him a guana, maybe.
A guana? Oh,
Big lizard. Right?
really?
Yeah. But that's going on. So anyway, do you have any, maybe you could say something about your role, possible role in the upcoming retreat in terms of what you might go in there?
Yeah, it isn't really clear now. I don't think even to Khenpo Rinpoche exactly how I will function in that retreat. But I will, since I did the solitary retreat in solitude, I was not taught like the practices that will be taught in the first 6 months. Mm-hmm. The preparatory practices where you learn all the ritual, torma making, instruments, things like that. So I will be attending that as one of the students for those first 6 months, and that will start next summer.
Right.
And then following that, when the people actually go into retreat, my understanding is that as needed, I could come out and help give some instruction maybe for the 6 dharmas, the 6 yogas.
Or interviews or something, helping people.
Yeah, in any way, if there was something I could do. The fact that I don't speak the Tibetan would mean that I can't see myself teaching. You would have to be familiar with the Tibetan teaching. I think there is going to be a resident Lama, though.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I understand.
One for both houses, or?
Well, usually there's just one, like Lama Ganga did, go back and forth.
Wow.
It's a problem because the teaching is so precious that obviously it can't be recorded and things like this. So it means that whoever is doing the teaching has to go from the men and the women back and forth like this to do the teaching. Whereas, I could obviously help in some way, and Khenpo Rinpoche as yet thinks there was a rumor floating around that I was going to be in retreat for 3 years. Which if that was how
you mean as like an attendant?
No, as help with the teaching and do
that'd be
the
good.
which would be maybe assist whoever the resident Lama is, or I really don't know how it's going to manifest, but I'll be available. I will be there for the 6 months to learn, and then whatever I can help with in the 3-year retreat practice, I'm real happy to do. And hopefully I'll get my Tibetan together so that
Sounds like you're working on it.
Yeah, but like next summer is not far away. I mean, we got like 9 months.
That's right.
But that's certainly long enough to get what needs to be done. I think together for everybody. because
I hope
most
so.
people just have to get their Mindros together, and a lot of
Right.
people are at least partially through them. And I don't think that's a problem. Everybody's sort of in the same boat as with their language.
Mhm.
But my understanding is being able to read fast is the only, stipulation as far as the Tibetan. You don't have to be real fluent in it. I mean, obviously that
You
would
have
help.
to read fast, but you have to understand what you're reading.
No, just
Not so
read
much?
fast so you can
Oh.
do because they do puja together 3 times a day or whatever.
Okay.
Remember Yeshe was talking
Yeah.
about that. And so it's just be able to chant fast together so you can keep up with it. And that's how they do it in Samling apparently. They're all real good readers. And obviously you
So-
do it the same thing all the time. You're pulling out nouns so you can't follow it.
So you are following a sum, or you go study, you know what it means.
You do because you're familiar with the visualization
Yeah.
or whatever, and you can pull
You
out
get
the
a teaching on
nouns.
it and stuff like
Yeah, and receive a teaching with I assume how it's going to work is Khenpo Rinpoche will do most of the teaching through a translator,
Right.
like maybe Yeshe would be really ideal or whoever it is.
Mhm.
And then apparently there will be if there's a resident lama who can do that, I'm sure that would probably be. He would be teaching through a translator, and that's what I understand. Because I really don't see Rinpoche doing the retreat with.
No, he couldn't.
He couldn't because he's got all these other
And that's why
responsibilities.
we chose to build it there. It was a tremendous struggle about where it was going to be built. You probably heard all
but
that.
it's nearby, so you can commute
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
needed.
You can get there in an hour and a quarter.
Yeah, because the thing is, when you're doing a lot of, the teachings might take a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. The 6-month prep takes a lot of teaching.
that. Where is that going to be held?
That, I don't know. I can't see it being held at KTD with retreats. I think it would probably be out at Delhi, I would assume. Because there's
And
not...
would the men and women be together at that point, or would they be?
I really don't know. I don't see why not, because it's not going to be a strict retreat during
They
those
won't
6
have
months.
taken
But
the vows at that point either, so.
I really don't know, because sometimes they like them to going into, so they'd sort of be in retreat, but, there. Like at Lama Norla's, a lot of the people, they were doing their daily practice, all the helping around the center, getting the things together. So they weren't in a retreat, but they were there, and they were getting used to sort of that sort of thing. So probably I would just assume, I can't see, there are 14 people who are going to be doing the retreat, hanging around KTD,
No.
That's just, it's not
They don't even
that
have enough room.
There isn't, because I don't know why they refer to that as a monastery, because Rinpoche and I are the only ones who are ordained, and there are no facilities for Sangha.
Do you have a room there?
Yeah, I have actually, the thought was that I would go into the Mahakali room, which is on the porch, on the left.
Yeah.
It's a real nice room, but the manager, he uses it. Side of the porch, then there's the temple. In the back, there's one room that's used as an office, and then there's another room which I'm in. And then during the seminar, I was upstairs in the room that's used for like guests when they come through across the hall from Rinpoche's room. So they're really, and down the hall, I think there's the Karmalte has a suite up on
Yeah,
the
I've seen
top
it. We've been through the
there,
whole thing.
and that's going to be big stuff. But there really aren't facilities for any number of Sangha.
Right, no, not there.
And the stipulation is that only ordained people can stay in the temple. So, although one of the workers does stay there. So when Yeshe came for the seminar, I moved up into the room across the hall from Rinpoche, and Yeshe had my room. But I like the room at the back because it's like you're just across the hall from the temple. You can go into the temple anytime, and there's the bathroom's just down the hall, and it's really quiet. You don't notice that people, you're completely away from all the crowd. Whereas on the porch, it would be awful, the noise and stuff. And you'd have to go because there's no bathroom in that room. You have to use the public showers and
So
stuff.
at this time, do you do a lot of daily practice? I mean, like Rinpoche, do you have a lot of different things to do?
I've been doing and since I did it in the way I did it, I didn't come out with like a whole lot of text to read like Ramanora's people do.
I think it's pretty neat.
I have real pithy things that if I like if I'm traveling or something and I can't do, I can do real short versions of things so that I could sort of cover what I had to do, my commitments without taking a lot of time. I don't have a lot of reading to do.
Right.
So which is really convenient. But I could spend a lot of time. I could do lengthier versions of what I wanted to do and stuff like that. So I do have certain things that I do every day, but I can condense them. So.
And at the monastery, you do longer
Well,
stuff? Or
see, I've been sort of here and there. I've been sort of scattered around. Like
Like
last weekend, I was doing. Chudra was ill, and Tuko had other engagements and stuff. So I did the seminar in his place on samatha and intro to Buddhism.
good.
What we basically did was just sit, and it was a real small group, and some of them were, only a few of them weren't old timers, and so it was nice. It was nice, but it was real. It was real informal. We mostly just went over the seven points of meditation posture, did the breathing practices, and it was nice. I don't think anybody seemed to mind. I think when Rinpoche gives a teaching, it's so full of information and stuff, and a lot of it, which is really priceless. A lot of people will never use that information. Like a lot of people will never do Marpa practice and stuff.
Right.
But he can give what I feel would be best at is sort of, if people want someone to lead a meditation weekend or something like that, just informal or just ask questions, something like that. That's really what I could be good, because I can't take a Tibetan test and go through it and give them a long commentary on sadhanas, which is what Khenpo Rinpoche is.
You could lead Nyungyes.
Yeah, I could lead Nunnes or Nundros or just samatha or things
That's
like
a big
that.
thing.
Because
That's what
some people
everyone's
just
doing.
like to have, someone sitting at the head of the room and leading it, whereas it gets a little dissipated if people aren't real sure how to do things and stuff like that. And some of these can ask and then just take questions and answers and even just sort of informal meditation weekends and stuff for people who think.
Which is a lot of what Rinpoche does. Has done. Really.
Well, that's something I could do, and that would take a burden off of Rinpoche.
And you're not averse to circulating among the centers?
No, not at all. I'm happy to,
Because that's like the most valuable thing that could possibly be done.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that, and I think that would also take some weight off of Rinpoche, because he's like the only one that comes,
Amazing.
And Tuko has his family now, and it's difficult for him to get away, and I don't
think he likes to travel too much.
probably not, because, he does have his family and his house and everything there. He's got, I can't imagine why he would want to, like anybody wouldn't want to leave his family, whereas for me, it's real easy. I don't mind traveling around. I'm a nomad anyway. I've always been traveling since I was 20. So it's easy for me, and Rinpoche could be, save him and all his expertise on when it's really important. So he didn't get used up on just things what I could do, like go around and lead a weekend meditation.
Which is really important. And by the time the first bunch of retreatants come out, which you maybe could hope a few of them would stay in robes and join you, you could be ready to lead them, organize them, and then really have a... I'm not going to get that.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I'm up for anything that needs to be done. Like, I don't think my going into strict retreat for another 12 years or something is really what I should be doing right now. Just being available, so if people want someone to come down. Like the people in Florida, apparently, it's a big treat to have somebody, in robes coming down from KTD to sit with them, just answer questions informally and stuff. Whereas Rinpoche always, I think he usually gets some sort of teaching together and gives them something like that, whereas I could just go down there informally and meet with them.
Like a lecture on Nundro, teach on Nundro?
Yeah, anything, just take questions and stuff, more informal, which,
well, talk about, same thing. And eventually, talk about Vajrasattva, talk about mandala offering.
Yeah, whatever they
how to
needed.
do it.
Yeah. Because there's really not much that needs to be taught in Nundro. It's not really
should point this out, and you probably know this, but it's just good general information, is that Rinpoche has done the very best he could. Still, mostly he's had to come to the center, present something, and move on, leaving a lot of the instruction in the hands of the center. So we've had the ungodliest instruction on how to do anything. How to do a prostration, how to do mandala.
Yeah, that's what I could.
Well, that would be so useful to how to do it, so that someone knows how to do it properly, and they can be certain that they've received instruction from somebody that really. Half the time, people are teaching it who aren't even done with it themselves, or not quite like that. Not quite like that.
About that kind of thing,
Yeah, well, you usually don't get it the first time, even while you're doing a retreat. I was doing a retreat for years, and every time I saw Rinpoche, I'd have another question about the visualization. He'd usually give you a new version.
That's true.
So you end up with... Lama Norla does that too, apparently,
Really?
about... because there's a lot of variations on a lot of practices, It's not cut and dried on anything. And there's a lot... For instance, just doing the different offerings and all these things, the different way to hold tormas when you take them out and all this and that and other thing. And apparently Trinley was telling me that like Lama Norla's version is sort of opposite to what they do at KTD, so you have to learn both methods and sort of things like that. So I mean, there's a lot of variations on the same thing, which makes it interesting. There's always something new to learn, but it can also get confusing if you're not sure what you're doing. But keeps the mind open. Really good. Yeah, I'm happy to do whatever people. I'm available if people need me. Like she is. I think
That's
feels
great.
the same way.
Between the two of you, a huge amount could be accomplished of good. I mean, this, it could be like solidifying the Sangha, which is getting fairly shaky. Just as Rinpoche.
Why is that?
Well, Rinpoche wasn't feeling as well sometimes. And there were times when it was announced that, maybe he couldn't fly anymore because he had,
Blood pressure and things.
Yeah, and he's definitely not getting any younger. I mean, none of us are, as you pointed out. And all of the things. I mean, he does an amazing job. I couldn't do what he does. I couldn't travel around from place to place like that in that kind of schedule. I'd be just sleep deprived. I'd be sick. I'd be just wasted in short order. So, I don't know. He's done an amazing job with great decorum and everything, considering what a crazy house it all is.
Eating all the different foods.
Yeah, eating all the different
people
foods, all
too,
sleeping in all the different beds.
Yeah.
On the road, just, traveling here in a little car here and into here and into here and into here, just endless. So anyway, the biggest, as I pointed out the other night, the biggest shortcoming of our Sangha and the whole operation, aside from not having the retreat working, which is an integral part of any operating Sangha, was not seeing somebody with some experience on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And that's, you're going to find that's true. They just, seeing Rinpoche once a year is great, but not enough.
But not enough.
Not enough, because I slip out, even, here we've been doing it for a while, we've practiced pretty well. We do an hour and a half in the morning, another 45 minutes, an hour in the evening. But still, after 2 or 3 months, you go through dry periods.
Yeah.
And unless you're experienced like you are, you can mistake the dry periods for just any number of things. And at the moment somebody comes that can remind you, don't worry, this is normal. I mean, that's all Rinpoche ever says to me, to keep on going.
Yeah.
Right? But you think that I could tell myself that I am beginning to. But still, to have him or someone like you listen to our little complaints about this or that and say, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Just keep going. That will, that's part of it. And it's, oh, that's right, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Now keep going. So, but the beginning, it was just awful because we didn't have anything. Did you ever meet Mark Rothley? Probably not. He was a fundraising person, was at KTD, very nice, but he was very kind, and he would send like a little picture of a tanka, or send a little thank you note or something. And every time one of those things would come, I had nothing. We had no Dharma goods then. We had one little statue of Buddha, that's the one on the left there. The little golem that Rinpoche gave me, the little one on the far left. The Rinpoche gave me early on. That was all we had. We had no books, no anything hardly. So he'd send like one little picture of tar or something. And that would just brighten up our whole practice environment for a while. So we've taken over that. Well, we're trying to provide plenty of stuff for people that can get it. We'll get it for them. We'll send them stuff. When I took over the fundraising thing, for every time, they weren't even sending a thank you note to people that had sent less than $500, just a form.
Really?
So we took it over at one point and wrote letters, personal letters to every person, and sent them always, like one of the pictures that Sangye Wangchuk did, a drawing or something, some sign, some building a samaya, right? Strengthening the bond. So anyway, so if you can get in the picture, and I just think that we're on our way to a much healthier environment, because you'll see the practice will blossom. All it takes is it's like being a tree farmer or something. You just have to water them regularly, and they have to have sunlight. But if they don't get it, they wither and die.
Well, you feel the momentum really building up with the tree retreat starting next summer. I mean, people really getting their practice together and getting aiming for this. So that I think the momentum of practice is definitely building.
It is.
Yeah.
And then His Holiness
will be back.
I hope so soon. I mean, it would be a tremendous blessing. I just have a personal question to ask when I have a chance. Rinpoche taught us about vase breathing, and let's say we could do periodically, but then gave me permission to do it as much as I want because I had a lot of experience as a singer, so I breathe that way always. So I just wonder whether there's anything you can communicate. Just when is a good time? And I kind of use the half-bass breathing for doing mantras, right? Like I do my mantras down here as opposed to up here or something, and so I'm kind of holding my breath all the time. Wonder whether you have any thoughts about that, or what do you know when? I know that you must know all this stuff.
As far as I really don't know what usually use the boss breathing when you're developing tumo.
Okay, I know that. No, I'm not.
And as far as using it just for normal, I don't know how Rinpoche instructed you to do it just in terms.
He taught us the breathing technique and then the release of it this way, right?
Yeah, just bringing it down below the
holding
navel,
it there, and then when you let it out, he had the whole technique of extending the fingers and shooting it out through the fingers.
Right, and contracting the stomach.
Yeah, and bringing that up from the anus, kind of contracting there, bringing it down here, kind of just holding it.
He had you doing that without any particular practice?
He introduced us to that as part of the Zamo Nandar, the profound inner meaning, the Nadi teachings he gave. And he said we could experiment with that, but then I went and did some stuff and experimented with it and had some things going on, and he suggested that if I wanted to, I could do it as much as I want. I'm just curious, what's the best place to do it? Maybe at the end of, when you rest evenly at the end of a practice, you could do some then.
Normally what you do the 9 breaths.
Yeah, he showed us that.
And then you do 3 bumcha.
Okay, 3 bumcha, that's like 7 rounds each, is that right?
Well, you could do the 9 breaths first.
Okay, right.
One nostril,
he showed us that.
And then do 3 bumchas, holding the breath as long as you can, and then letting it out.
And as you're learning it, would you recommend holding the breath long and hard? I mean, at this point, I'm not forcing anything. When it becomes uncomfortable, I just let it go out.
Yeah, when it becomes uncomfortable, when it first becomes uncomfortable, you're sitting in the stretch posture, right?
Which is the
stretch? You know how? Well,
yeah.
When you're doing it, put my glasses down.
Yeah, you did. But what did happen? Did I just?
There.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay. When you sit and you put your hands clenching you make the Vajra fist, clenching the here cuss off and cuss down on.
Okay, put it right here.
On your ring finger, you press on that
right there,
because there's a nadi there, and that helps to.
Yes, right. Rinpoche showed us that.
Then you put your fist in your groin here, and you straighten your arms.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen that.
It helps sometimes for some
what if
people.
Your arms are too long or something?
For some people, it's far easier to have your butt raised up about like
that. Okay,
that's
what you're saying.
But if you're not, but the thing is, you're supposed to have your arms should go like this, so they're out.
So
they're locked.
Like that. Oh,
they're
yeah, but
locked.
I can't do that.
Do it in front, and just get a feel what you're doing. Your elbows should be locked, and you should be able to do it in that position.
Oh, you mean this way? Which one am I doing it?
Your fists are just sort of curled up in your joint like that.
So like that?
Yeah, like this. And your elbows are locked in place. And your shoulders should be straight. You can hunch them up like that. They should be straight.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So I can't.
You take some practice. I would raise your.
Maybe I'm a monkey or something.
Apparently, one person used to say Lama Ganga would take people. Well, Lama Ganga. Somebody else was saying that when Lama Ganga was trying to teach him to do the yoga practice, people said, "Oh, my arms are too long. I can't get." He just takes you because when he taught me, he did the same thing. He says he just takes your body and straightens it like this. So you get in that position, and you just lock into that position.
Okay,
and when you're doing certain practice, you will sit in that position for the entire period of like 3 hours and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, you'll do the whole practice.
And you've been able to do this for long periods of time?
Sitting. I sit like that always because it's the most comfortable.
Really?
But it just took getting used to it, just in the right front. And like that, and there are certain practices you'll sit in this position the entire time. Like when you're doing Maha Mudra, oftentimes you might sit in this position. And you can be holding air below the navel down there. Like when people do like Milarepa, people who develop tumor, you keep some air down there, and so that like Rinpoche, he probably showed you, you push on his stomach and you can see how hard he keeps it, and you can keep air down there and still talk.
Yeah, that's a half breath.
Yeah,
that's a half
breath. And if you do that if you really develop tumo, you can keep the heat functioning, right? Because obviously you can't be doing boomcha and develop heat all the time, when you're wandering around, but you keep it so there is some air down there all the time, and that will keep the tumo.
See, we haven't been shown tumo.
Oh, right. Well, it's usually where you're using the boomcha. But when you do the 9 breaths, you normally do the 9
Yeah, the cleansing.
breathing, right?
Right.
And then you follow with 3
This,
boom
okay,
chant.
yeah.
And when it gets uncomfortable, what you do is you churn the stomach to one side and the other.
I mean, it's a little bit.
Because what you're doing is knocking it into the
You're supposed to bring in from the Ida and the Pingala or whatever, bring in the two nadis.
So you put your it pushes it into.
So, but how do you go like this, or?
You're rotating your stomach.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
People do it differently.
Okay.
Lama Ganga does it real fast. When he does it, he'll sit and he'll go. He'll push back. He'll bring his stomach like that sort of.
Before the breath goes out.
Yeah, when it gets uncomfortable,
then you do this.
Then you do it. You're not moving your body at all. You're just moving your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're sort of pushing it to push it into the central channel. And then when you can't hold it anymore, then you let it out.
And then you go out like that.
Yeah, through the nose.
Wow.
And you breathe it all out too.
Yeah, he showed us that.
Wheeze.
Yeah, he said that. Completely empty.
Completely out.
Like,
and then you go out.
Like your stomach and back won't come together is what
Yeah,
you
you
presented.
breathe in, swallow, and then. You suck in. Don't hunch your back, but
yeah, I do that
suck
too
your
much.
stomach.
Yeah, I'll have to work on it.
Goes in like. But if you just want to, it's good. Also, they'll tell you you can. What I would do if you just want to incorporate it into like you do the karma pakshi and stuff like that. Start by doing 9 breaths cleansing and then 3 boom chant. And then just start doing whatever kind of.
Boom chant is 7.
You can do 7, 21, whatever
I see
you want,
okay.
or 3.
3 rounds. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I would do 9 breaths.
So boom chant means a round or just one breath?
Boom chant means a big breath.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So just 7 times would be fine, or 3 times, whatever's good. But don't hold it so that it's really uncomfortable. When it's real uncomfortable, then let it out.
Right.
And just as you practice, it'll get better. But normally, that's just a good way to incorporate it because it gets the mind quiet.
So this is the kind of stuff. Well, this is a little advanced, I think, for a lot of the people that you need to be doing. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that people.
I would say if Rinpoche has told you to do boom chant, that's how I'd incorporate it. If people have never heard of boom chant, I wouldn't.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, but
this is the sort of thing you got to get.
My point is that seeing you do it is impressive. I mean, since obviously you know what you're doing. That's what I'm trying to say. And then if you were showing mandala, whatever you've done, whatever it is, so many times or whatever, that you communicate. It's almost like empowerment or whatever. You're communicating a sense of sureness, and that we don't know, right?
Also, there are so many variations on how to do things, like mandala offering. In some, like in the Drupakagyu, you can rest your arm.
That's okay. Just go to drink.
On
okay.
your carpet.
It's all right. What is it?
It was just tea.
It's not a big deal. That's my foolishness.
It's like what would be good is if in the Nundo commentary that's Rinpoche put out, that's why I'd be interested in doing it, because there are so many variations to do different, like prostrations have different variations, the mandala offering has different variations. Just on the technique, some say you cannot hold it. You have to have your arm elevated. In Drupakagyu, you can rest your arm. And in some days, you should do more long ones or shorter ones. So that's why I'd be interested in having the Nundo commentary and text.
You don't have that, so that you should have. You should have that just for the sake of everyone. And I thought you had that, and that I could even give you. You might want to just take that with you and around the centers and read, because that's.
I think somebody wants to do Nundo.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I think in Chicago they were doing Nundo, and maybe they did.
Whatever you do, don't let them Xerox it, because we need to get the money back that we put into it to make more things.
Of course, Michael, maybe you could send that to people, because I'm sure people would send half copies, right?
Not necessarily. That one, I don't know how much space you have. It's not very big.
The text.
No, I was thinking either way. I mean, the text you probably know of. I would think they'd have some copies of the text everywhere, not necessarily ours, which is that one there, but that's the Nundro. But the commentary, which maybe let me see if I.
Oh, the commentary is short.
Let me see if I have one.
It'd be great to have one of the texts if you do. But
you can take that one if you like. I mean, we've got plenty of them. Let me see if I have a. I can just.
Is it a problem for you guys to send things?
No. But I'm wondering if you're going to be going to centers, whether the commentary might be something for you to read late at night.
Yeah, the commentary would be a nice thing to read.
David, could you bring a copy of the Nundro commentary and a copy of the Nundro sadhana home? And then I think what we're going to do is send Karma Wangmo the whole set of whatever we have, of texts and commentaries. I think she has maybe the profound inner meaning, or whatever we just sent her. But she needs to have a copy like Chenrez's Economic Taba and Rinpoche and whatever else we can get together.
His refuge teachings.
Hang on a second. Any refuge teachings? Just we should get it together because she can't take it all with her. We'll talk about it. Sounds good. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, because Michael, I'll be back on the 31st.
Yeah, and please know that you're always welcome here. You know that, and I'm sure every center will say that. But we have that room is available. You can come. Well, also if you ever, our cottage is available, and
Yeah, that's nice to know.
if you ever needed a short retreat in the winter somewhere that is protected, there is heat there.
Yeah.
You could go out there and
Oh, in the cottage.
yeah, you could go out to the small cottage, Rinpoche's cottage, and just use it.
Oh, that's nice.
And we could bring your food out occasionally, once a week or something. It's got a great stove in it, commercial one that we had, from a restaurant, super stove to cook on. Try to cook some.
Oh, great.
So
yeah,
that was.
Well, that's nice to know. I
Probably won't have much time to do that, but.
Yeah, I probably won't have much time to do it again. Also, with the thing coming up in September, I'll be out in Delhi probably, and I may be there a lot in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Depending on.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, there was a.
But I think it would be a mistake if you got roped into the retreat and we lost. We got to get through 3 years. We got to feed these people, and that means we got to keep money coming in, and we got to keep the sangha growing and strong. So
my feeling is that there's a rumor going in that I'm going to be in the retreat for the
that would be unfortunate from my point of view.
But that's not what I understood through Rinpoche, that he wanted me there to come and go and
that would
help
be
with
ideal.
Construction. And I really see that as seems probably
After the first retreat is done, hopefully he'll start a second one right and we'll be all ready to go.
Yeah.
That would might be good. Then we'd have some other people. But until then, you're it.
Yeah, I don't think being in a retreat is really what I should be doing at the moment. It's like Lama Yeshe, my first teacher. He was the one that he's like I have no problem thinking of him as also my Sari Lama along with his Holiness the Karmapa. Although when I told him that, I said I'd always think of him as my Sari Lama. He said, don't say that, because he saw my connection with the Karmapa as being my Sari Lama. But to me, it's not a problem. I mean, they're one and the same entity.
Of course, the same thing.
And so he said, you're going to teach, expect that. So I figured the fact that I was fortunate enough to remain in retreat for 12 years, sort of now.
And that's the classic long retreat.
Yeah. So the new phase is to help
teach.
with some instruction and things like that, which I think it will be what I'll be doing at the 3-year retreat. And hopefully I'll get my Tibetan together, so I'll be more of an asset. Without Tibetan is a real problem. Just so that Rinpoche can tell me things that we've done through translation, and we're on the same wavelength, but we can't communicate. He was like saying with Jamdag, it's really easy, because Jamdag speaks,
Who's Jamdag?
He was the one that went in the cabin next to me.
Oh.
He did the...
Is he there now or something?
He visited just for a few days. He came over from Sammy Ling, but he's like since Lama Ganga's passed, and he's been like the 3-year retreat master.
Oh, I see.
And he's done, he and I both received 3-year retreat practices from Rinpoche. But he went over to Scotland after like 5 years next door to me, and so he's not really available. He's real good with Rinpoche says Jamdag is easy. Jamdag speaks English and is Tibetan, so there's no problem there. And he's done the practices, but he's needed in Scotland. So it would really be ideal if I got my Tibetan together. So like Rinpoche
hard to do. Yeah, we're trying to learn some Tibetan too, just for everyone else, really.
I think Rinpoche would, what would be really ideal is if I could translate.
Of course.
We could work together on one-on-one instead of through a translator.
Well, if you could translate, the way to do that is just to start speaking Tibetan with someone.
Yeah.
What Rinpoche needs is a devoted person that can translate for him to attend him as well.
Yeah, Yeshua is excellent for that.
If we can, he's come a long way too.
Yeah.
In the sense that he's a lot more open now to that than he was at the beginning. He sees the connections, he sees the benefits of it.
Yeah, well, I think when he realizes how much people appreciate his coming and stuff, and how important it is.
Right now, especially for this next time.
Yeah, because really, he's the only one I can think of who's really, with Chuter out of the picture as far as health and Nundra gone, it's really it falls to Yeshe. which is sort of hard. I mean, there are people Lama Norla's, but again, like it was like as you was mentioning, there's the Lama Norla's mandala and there's the KTD mandala.
Yeah, he seems to be slipping into our
more
mandala
so,
a little bit.
yeah.
That's wonderful.
Since he's been with Jamna and Contra, I think that's more ties with KTD probably
Yeah.
than with Lama Norla.
Oh, that's wonderful. As soon as I saw him with Rinpoche, it was a tremendous experience for me.
Yeah, they're great together. They work well together.
And I have confidence in him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he has some realization, and
Yeah, definitely.
and he's definitely letting everyone know he's going for it, not messing
Yeah.
around. He's not going to hopefully be
Yeah.
sidecarred somewhere off to the side.
I don't
hope he
think
can
so.
keep to it, and I'm sure that he can.
I think he will.
Yeah, he must.
He's a strong practitioner.
So that's
Yeah, the future definitely looks bright. In the next year, by next summer, things will be, firming up. They have to firm up by next summer, so I mean, it's going to happen whether
right.
some people are having to get.
Well, we're going to produce another one of things like this real soon.
Yeah,
so,
I definitely want to read that.
Oh, I could give you one of these to take with you, because you should read that, just because you should know all what Rinpoche said about retreat. And most all of it's in there that's important. All the news that's fit different kind of idea.
You and the time.
And that had a big effect. People really enjoyed seeing that, and we gave them a lot of pictures. And
well, it's also just the fact that it sparks a lot of people's interest in doing the retreat. Maybe not immediately, but maybe in the future, or maybe it's some other lifetime. But at least the seeds are planted. That they're thinking is a possibility.
I'm writing a new article. Let me run this idea past you. This is kind of what I picked up from Rinpoche, and see what you approve of it. Is that the way I had looked at it was that Margaret and I have kids.
Yeah.
We can't go. We're kind of patrons. We fit into the patron role. And, there's some not jealousy or envy, but sort of a feeling on my part of, well, I'm on the outside. Those lucky guys are going in and working with Rinpoche. I can't really share in any of the benefits other than His Holiness said that anyone who helps with the Maker retreat will have equal benefit.
Yeah, equal benefit, right.
But then, I said, oh, yeah, merit, I'll get pie in the sky kind of thing, when I die kind of thing, which is, my problem to think that way. But then over the last year, I've kind of been getting, from some of the teachings I read of Rinpoche, and then just with Rinpoche, the idea that, no, that's not the correct perception. And one of the ways he pointed this out was a story he told me of, in a retreat, when he went in, did you hear this in front of everyone? If so, just stop me. But the story of the monk that was the cook, when he went into one of his 3-year retreats, I think he did 2 of them, did he, or something like that, whatever, there was a fellow that was going to be the cook. We'll call him Joe, because I don't remember the Tibetan name. But Joe told everyone that this was the pinnacle of his life, that he could never aspire to anything more better than being able to cook for these guys and gals, or whatever it was, probably whatever, I don't know if the guys and gals or what, going into retreat. And he was going to be their cook, and he was really getting off on that. That was a really good thing for him to be able to do. So they said, great. And so then as they started getting in and doing the practice, and they would discuss their dreams, which is a part of it, at the table, when they eat at some point. And Joe would pipe right in and tell them about his dreams, even though he hadn't been to the teachings or he hadn't been doing the practice. And they were interesting, and they would sort of all kind of laugh at Joe a little bit. It was a little bit of, well, sure, Joe, your dreams are interesting, but you're not doing the retreat. You're just Joe. You're cooking, Joe. And this went on and on until they got to the last part of 3-year retreat, I think, POA training, whatever it is. And they were all waiting for the signs of POA. And the first person to develop them was Joe. And Joe developed them all fully, and all could see. And then at that point, they all understood that the mandala of the retreat is larger than simply the bodies of those people who are lucky enough to go in and be doing the practice. And so the feeling I'm getting, what I'm trying to write an article to try to write another one of those, is that all of us can participate in this mandala. And this mandala of our own KTD retreat is now forming. And it's something that you can hook into by, you don't have to just give money, you can hook into it by giving support and thinking of it and putting it in your practice. And I think that, and I'm having, I fully intend to hook into the mandala out here. I'm going to do all the practice I can, but I want to be part of it. Even though I'm not going to be doing the exact same practice, I'm going to be doing some practices, and I'm going to try to communicate to other people in this next thing like that really that's a better way of looking at it. Instead of you're left out and these guys are lucky and you don't get any, it's that it's a group, it's a sangha thing. Yeah. And we need to have some people in, we also need to have patrons and people supporting you know.
Yeah, well, I felt real happy when people said that they felt, somehow connected and part of what I was doing when I was in retreat. Because it wasn't just one person doing a retreat for 12 years. It was like everybody was involved. And like one friend said, we did this. Referring to the retreat I didn't finish. This is something we did. Because it was a group effort.
Well,
I was fed.
You were fed.
And there were people that were, supportive just in many ways, just thinking of the retreat as a positive sense.
And you feel good about that kind of thought?
Yeah, well, I told people, one woman said she felt real close to me. She just tuned into me. I'd never met her before, but she said she just the thought of me would, and then her mind would be quiet and she'd help her do her practice. And I said, well, I feel close to everybody, although I've never seen them either. There was that feeling of, there was a lot of people involved in it, and just the pure thought is beneficial because it's all.
So you definitely feel that we all can participate.
Yeah,
this is a much larger thing than any.
I also think oftentimes in couples with kids, because there are a lot, I think, or that have certain responsibilities in the world, like jobs they can't leave and stuff, that one of the couple, like say Margaret does a 3-year retreat, you're holding down the business, and then maybe you get change places or something. That would work. I don't think, especially like your kids are getting older, except for Michael.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
They really don't need 2 parents around. I mean, it wouldn't kill them to do without, for 3 years.
I'm not giving up on the idea. I'm a little crazy myself. The idea of getting some benefit of practicing outside of retreat. It's not like it's never been done, that anyone's gotten any realization, that the only place to get realization is in retreat.
No, it's just the 3-year retreat is special. The other possibility is the one like they're doing in Nova Scotia where they do 6 months.
6 on and 6 off.
Which, for some, I don't know. My feeling. Some people say, well, if you can't do it right, don't do it at all.
Right.
There's
that's not right.
The traditionalists.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, they can't possibly. If not something is better than nothing.
That's right.
And so if they can do it that way,
Or even at home, I think that we could do extensive practice wherever we are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been done.
Oh, sure you can. Yeah,
maybe it's not the same, but then it's different. But it's still.
Yeah.
There must be some benefit. There must be some possibility of realization, given any situation.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah. I don't see why the 3-year retreat practices have to be done in a specific way. As far as people could do them and do them. If you could do it on your own in a solitary retreat for so many months. A lot of practices only do it for like a month, 3 months.
In some senses, what you're doing is got a different kind of beneficial. It's almost like they're going so fast sometimes that they didn't have opportunity to just really dwell on one.
Right, but then when they finish those, they've had all the teaching, so they can go back and do whatever they want for however long.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. Either way, personally, I'm more of the. I'm not so interested in learning a lot of stuff.
Yeah, neither am I.
I have to do karma pakshi, and I have this Dorje Tumpo. That's really plenty.
Yeah, it is plenty.
I mean, really. I mean, how much can I do? How much other things how many visualizations do I need?
Yeah, a lot of it I also think is, there's a big blessing in doing like a Uriel that you do in the beginning, and the Nundro is, purifying and also sort of preparing the mind to do the.
We still do parts of that.
Yeah, you should. You should do like something in Nundro.
I kind of do it like medicine. Like sometimes I need to do Vajrasattva.
Yeah.
And then I have to do it. And sometimes I do mandala because I need to do it. And I try to do prostrations until recently. Try to do 1 round a day anyway, but I haven't been doing them for a while. Margaret's much better than I am.
Yeah.
But
consistency is the most important thing. It's like anything. If you get out of shape meditatively, you really notice if you're doing, if you're really getting a schedule that works for you. Like your schedule, I don't know how.
Well, my schedule's real consistent. I just dropped the prostrations for a while.
Yeah.
We get up at 5:30 and then do about an hour and a half for practice.
Yeah, that's good.
We do the Tashi, the Vajrachanda Dorje Tumpo. I do like 1,000 of those, and then I do Karma Pakshi, and then I have to go to work, and then by that time it's 7:30.
Yeah, that's good. As long as the consistency is really important.
No, we've always been consistent. Yeah. When we did Nundra, we did 2 sessions a day. We side by side. We've always been side by side. We finished within, I don't know, not very long of each other, days.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that support is helpful.
It's been good.
Doing it.
Yeah. And then we did other stuff, I finished my Amitabha mantras and stuff like that. Because our center is kind of dedicated to Amitabha.
Oh.
So I used to do that once or twice a day. Rinpoche finally told me not to do it anymore until I was done with Nundro, and I haven't brought it up since then.
Oh, really?
Well, I was getting carried away with it. And Shama Rinpoche came here, and he spontaneously gave us empowerment, and that was a big thing. And because he's an emanation,
Yeah.
and gave us Mahamudra transmission, which was pretty interesting to a whole crowd of people. Most of them just off the street, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, nice.
Sunday decided to give Mahamudra transmission, and he made everyone take refuge or leave, which no one left. I heard all these townies taking refuge and getting Mahamudra transmission.
Oh.
It was an incredible experience for me. I mean, for me, it was just like all white light. Margaret and I looking at each other, tears running down our eyes. It was
Powerful.
very powerful. And so, I don't know. Those are the two we connected with, the modern ones, live ones, is Shama Rinpoche and Khenpo Rinpoche. Even though I guess Shama Rinpoche is kind of political and there's some problems, but I can't help it.
Yeah. I think it'd be nice for at least one of you to do it for your retreat.
Well, we're such, really, we never have had a babysitter. And we don't leave each other's side. So if we did, and we'd both do them. I mean, I can't believe, I wouldn't leave Margaret.
You don't think it'd be a good idea that you left one another's side?
It probably is a very good idea, but
I think so.
that's not likely.
Really.
But I'm glad to hear that.
Death is going to be a tough party.
Well, that's okay. I've studied that a lot, thought about it a lot. I'm with you on death. I think people should think about it, and I think about it fairly a lot. And the Amitabha practice, and I'm into it, into the idea. I'm not sure if I'm dying. I guess I'm dying to do it, but not yet. So that doesn't frighten me. I don't know how Margaret feels, but I don't
How
know.
would you feel about being retreated 3 years apart from each other?
If we both did it at the same time, fine.
And you never saw each other?
That'd be fine with me. I mean, as long as I knew she was doing the same thing. I would love to do retreat.
And if she weren't doing the same thing?
Then I
Why
have to.
was there a retreat and you weren't?
I guess I'd have to either vice versa. I'd have to work it out. There's some jealousy and worry and stuff that would have to be dealt with. I think that's what would happen. I would, be painful.
Yeah.
But as you say, that particular pain has to be dealt with sooner or later, and I agree with you there. But I don't know. We might do it together later in life. Or the way I'm looking at it is that you guys go ahead and do your stuff. I'm a scrapper. I'm going to do practice here and now, and I'm going to try to increase my practice. And no, I may not be at the level of the rest of the people that go in retreat. So what? I'm at my level.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I can, and I'm doing the kind of practice I'm able, and I'll have the realization that I'm supposed to have.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid of being cut out. I'm not intimidated. I'm also just kind of stubborn that way.
Yeah. And Margaret, would you like to do the 3-year retreat? Do you have any, or do you have any?
Well, it's real hard for me to think of,
Because of the children.
practically. I mean, I just feel like I can't do it at this point. I think I would like to, yeah. But if suddenly then a situation where I could do it, then I feel like, at that point I could really make the decision. But now it just seems like some kind of fantasy or something,
Yeah.
to do this 3-year retreat. But sure, I imagine I would be right in there if I were.
Yeah, and you wouldn't find it a problem for your family for
My kids?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why I feel like I can't go.
We couldn't leave
I
little
don't-
ones.
I couldn't.
When they get like Odie's age, with it, my teacher, this Scotchman, was my first teacher. As he taught me, when the babies start to bite the mama, that's when the mama knows to push them away. So when they start to bite, a little bit, then there's another one that's getting to this stage. Then you can be without them, and they can be without you. But someone like Michael and May, I mean, I realized you could do it, but it just, it's not our
even
style.
like one parent, I wouldn't be a very good single parent, I don't think, because at this point, I rely on Michael for a lot of decisions, which, we discuss things together.
Yeah.
We talk about everything.
Concern
Right?
the kid's outcome, and the rules, and
And we've been married 20 years.
decision making of how, how they should be dealt with. I reach a lot of real blind spots in dealing with them, and I'm just in a way of, what should we do with this situation? I really am indecisive, and
Yeah.
we talk it over, and then we come to some kind of
I mean, we've never had babysitters. We've never been unfaithful. We love each other pretty much, and we are dependent on each
It
other.
would
No
be a
question
very,
about it.
very, very, very big difference for the whole family. You know, if one of us
Yeah,
wasn't
imagine
there.
it would.
And I don't know, you know, if it would particularly be a hardship, but it would be very, very different. You know,
And
very
Rinpoche,
different.
yeah, he knows. He likes our family a lot. I think
Yeah.
he likes Margaret a lot. You know, he also I told you gave me a mala. He gave her something really special as well. You know, and he used the mala he gave me ever since he came to this country. So that's a strong connection. You know, we didn't know what that even meant, other than we better try to help, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think Rinpoche's real open to people who aren't in families. You know,
Oh, yeah.
You know, getting to divide and conquer or anything. You know, I think
No, he doesn't.
because he has a lot of families, Westerners who are married or in relationships.
But he's also been pretty cool about, to some families, just saying, yes, just park your kids here and go into retreat. I mean, he's very much
if he
that.
sees somebody's ripe for retreat,
He hasn't told us that.
And if he hasn't told you that, then
Oh, we haven't asked.
We haven't asked
You
either.
know.
We know.
We
We're
haven't
trying to help.
discussed
We're
it,
doing all we
so.
can short of being in there. You also need someone like us out here.
Yeah,
I
if
guess
you
we
guys
have
went into
discussed
retreat,
it kind of in a roundabout way, you know, saying, you know, what can we do?
And don't you think you need someone to raise funds and help feed you guys?
Yeah, I was thinking, if you two go into retreat, then what happens to the fundraising, all that
Everything,
sort of
yeah.
outside interest,
I mean, originally there was a thing that was supposed to be called Karma Kagyu Institute,
We're at KKI?
KKI, and I went at the beginning and said I would like to be part of that. And so, no, you didn't know me, but we are now doing what they originally imagined to do, which was produce text, transcriptions. We have all, 1,500 teachings. We have more teachings than any other place on the earth of Khenpo Rinpoche's. We have all of his teachings that,
1,500
tapes.
tapes,
Yeah. So, but I'm saying we have everything at KTD plus lots more. I'm not bragging. I'm sort of saying
No,
we care
yeah.
about him
Yeah,
and we care about his teachings. And someday he won't be with us,
Yeah, that's really
and we'll
fun.
suddenly have the teachings. And
No,
that
it's important.
yeah, and so someone has to do that. And anyway, I'm just one person. There's thousands of people. I don't have to be in retreat.
Yeah, well, the through retreat is something that's ongoing. I mean, everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not something that's a one-shot deal. The only reason it's a one-shot deal in some sense is because Rinpoche is getting older, and this is the first and possibly the last.
I
that
know.
He'll be that
I would love
involved
to him, but see, I feel Rinpoche's given me his blessing.
But yeah, I mean,
And
you don't need that either. It's like I was told that this Buddha that His Holiness gave me, and he also gave one to Jamda. He's only apparently given Jamda's at like 20 to anybody. Rinpoche suggested they actually might have pulled them out of his body.
Really?
To produce it. So it's real special. And Rinpoche said, or Jamda was saying, you should carry it with you all the time. Mine is in Arizona,
Right.
But for me, I don't need to have something
Right.
material. I mean, for me to have something representing His Holiness, to me, is something that's so internal that just carrying something around with me is just an object I have to worry about losing. And I'd rather have it with my mother,
Right.
just to have it because it's something of His Holiness is there.
What was
with her.
it?
A small Buddha with stuffed.
Oh, really?
But then I'm so far removed from something. I was just learned recently. Like I've been in Rome since 16 years nearly. And I just
Something to get you.
Oh, we'll be over in a
Oh, is
minute.
it lunchtime?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
we'll be right there. Oh,
I just recently learned that the cloth,
Sorry.
the cloth that you have blessed during the ceremony is like your certificate of ordination. I didn't know that I had these things. I still have them. I have to find them. But someone,
really?
an Italian monk gave it to me. I didn't have any of the ordination ceremony, so he gave me and this Italian friend this piece of marine cloth, a piece of gold cloth that is blessed during the ceremony, and that's what Trini was telling me. That sort of, I said, well, how does anyone prove if you're ordained or not? We were talking about one friend that wanted to go to the Kali Chakra initiative. I said, there's no certificate and anything. So she pulled out what she showed me. This is the evidence that you've been ordained. I thought,
well, you don't need any of that stuff, right? Everyone knows who you are.